Molly Tuttle live on WNCW. Reminds me of Bill Monroe talking about how he always would refer to bluegrass as something like it's an excellent musical education. There was a quote that he would say that something to that effect over and over, and there were a lot of players that came out of the bluegrass world and made it big in country or AAA or other contexts, from Ricky Skaggs.
That way. It kind of gives you the chops to play a bunch of different styles of music. I feel like there's so many bluegrass musicians who kind of veer into other musical genres. Someone like Bela Fleck, he's won so many Grammys in all the different categories, and it's just kind of, it's cool. I think I agree with Bill Monroe. It's a great musical education.
Yeah, and I was wondering what bluegrass, it's not like you've left bluegrass at all, really, but I'm wondering what that has informed you as far as your new album goes.
Oh, yeah, totally. Well, I think as far as my new album, so much of the guitar playing I do on the album is informed by, my flat picking background. Like the whole record starts off with kind of this cross-picking riff that it's sort of like almost like a rock song, but I'm playing like flat-picking guitar all throughout the song, which is Everything Burns, the first track on the record. So I feel like, even though the songs are a little different and they're not strictly bluegrass songs, there is still a lot of that influence all throughout the record, both in my playing and singing, and then even some of the songs, like a song on the album, Rosalie, is basically this old murder ballad. I tried to write kind of this old-timey murder ballad, but then the production is a little more contemporary this time around. But yeah, so much of the music on the new record is still informed by that, my musical background.
This strikes me as somewhat unique how you've juxtaposed like your own flat picking into somewhat of a pop context. Are there any other analogs to what you're doing with this record? Or did you key on anybody, any artist or any record as you went into this?
Question. I not specifically any other record, but I always wanted to make an album that put flat picking guitar in a totally unexpected context. That was just something I thought would be really interesting and cool, and it kind of took me a while to figure out really how to do that. And it was great working with Jay Joyce because he's a guitar player as well. He comes from a guitar background, and he was able to, but he's not a bluegrasser, but he was able to kind of see my playing and kind of figure out how it could fit into this totally different production style. So like he would even say things like on the song I was talking about, Everything Burns, he would be like, why don't you play something like this? And I would be like, okay. So it's just kind of fun, like having that common, back and forth language about the guitar. And he heard like my flat picking style and was able to kind of imagine ways that it could be fit into a different context.
So maybe I could be a famous producer if I could use language like that.
Yeah, exactly. If you just kind of like hum or like make up nonsense words to describe something you're hearing in your head, that's part of production role for sure.
Thinking about bluegrass and roots music artists who cross over into other contexts, but also it works both ways. There's a big attraction to roots music where people like Beyonce or Ringo Starr come over and make a country record with folks like Molly Tuttle. So I wonder if you've thought any about that sort of phenomenon.
Yeah, well, I'm still waiting for the call from Beyonce to play with her, but I did get to play with Ringo Starr, which was incredibly cool, something I never imagined would happen. But he's been a country fan for a very long time, and he's made country music before, but then this year he put out a new country record, and T-Bone Burnett produced it and asked me to play on it, and then I got to play with him at the Ryman. And I feel like it's always like country music and bluegrass, I feel like there's so many people in all genres who are fans of it, and maybe they haven't made a country record yet, or they haven't made a bluegrass record yet, but it's on their mind of something they'd like to do eventually. So I feel like I'm always surprised by the people who love this kind of music, who maybe you wouldn't think of as like a bluegrass musician, but they're really tuned in and listening to it. Yeah.
Awesome. I want to ask you about being a spokesperson for the National Alopecia Areata? Areata Foundation.
Areata.
Have you lit a spark in anyone? Are you witnessing any young Molly Tuttles coming up, and sort of I have to figure that you being who you are, you have a lot of influence, especially on younger people. So are there any sort of anecdotes that you can share?
Yeah, actually, last night in Knoxville, this girl came to my show, and we do like a little meet and greet before the show, and she came with her mom, and she had alopecia, which for anyone listening in who doesn't know what it is, it's an autoimmune condition where you lose your hair. Basically, like, your body decides that your hair is an intruder, and like your immune system attacks your hair and it falls out. Nothing else really happens, so it doesn't really affect your physical health in any way, but it definitely affects how people see you, and affects your daily life in a lot of different ways. So this young girl, grade school age girl, came with her mom, and she had alopecia, and it was so cool, like, seeing her and meeting her, and she was like showing me she called it her wig snatch. She was like, I got to show you my wig snatch video. And she was on the soccer field, kicking a ball around wearing a wig, and then she just grabs the wig and throws it down on the field and runs away. And that was really cool to see because, like, when I was a kid, I just didn't have that many people to look up to. I didn't really know other people with alopecia, and I certainly didn't have like a role model who I could look to who was like confidently going out and about without hair. So I remember when I was a kid, I was terrified to play soccer because I was wearing hats and wigs, and I didn't want the ball to hit me in the head and like make my wig fly off, and everyone would suddenly know my deep dark secret. So it was really moving to see this little girl who loved to play soccer and didn't care if like she was pulling off her own wig on the soccer field. So that was cool. It gave me hope for the next generation for sure.
Well, it's wonderful to see. So glad to witness the early success of So Long Little Miss Sunshine, and wish you all the best as you tour through the region, and then be somewhat close by as you come through Atlanta later on in October.
Yeah.
So if anybody missed your shows in North Carolina, maybe Atlanta.
Yeah, you can come see us in Atlanta. That's going to be so much fun. But yeah, maybe are we ready for another
Let's do another
song? Okay, we'll finish off with this one. This is actually kind of, speaking of wig snatches, this is sort of my wig snatch anthem. I bought a hot rod car just to leave you behind. Took some little white pills to take you off of my mind. I threw your shit out of my house. I'm keeping the cat. I'm going out and throwing out the welcome mat. Now I'm stepping off the curb in my brand new kicks, leaving you in the dirt with your dirty tricks. I bought a new queen bed that I don't have to share. I got a new wig to get you out of my hair. So long, little Miss Sunshine. Adios to my used to be. Leave you behind, no time for goodbye. Breaking up with the old me. I changed my guitar strings so I can tune you out. I got a new song to sing, you don't know who it's about. I've been rehearsing, reversing the person before. Crossed you out like a cliche metaphor. Used to play real nice, now I go straight for the kill. Was the girl next door, now I'm straight out of hell. Got you off of my back, now I'm walking on air. I got a new wig to get you out of my hair. So long, little Miss Sunshine. Adios to my used to be. Leave you behind, no time for goodbye. Waking up with the old me. Bye-bye, banging on the minor keys. Bye-bye, head full of doubt. Bye-bye, all your insecurities. Bye-bye, baby, I'm a-cutting you out. Bye-bye, banging on the minor keys. Bye-bye, head full of doubt. Bye-bye, trying to be the boss of me. You're pulling on my puppet strings, you make me wanna shout. So long, little Miss Sunshine. Adios to my used to be. Leave you behind, no time for goodbye. Breaking up with the old me.
Molly Tuttle live in Studio A here at WNCW on the campus of Isothermal Community College.